The whispered phone call came at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday, jolting me awake in my Phoenix home. My older brother Kevin's voice was hushed, urgent, nothing like his usual booming car salesman tone. "Lisa, don't freak out, but Tommy and I buried something in your backyard last night." I sat up, instantly alert. "You did what?" "Shuh. Just listen. We buried our savings. Some gold bars, nothing illegal. We just need them off our property for a while. Few weeks max." "Kevin, what the hell?" "Look, baby sister, just keep quiet about it, okay? We'll dig them up soon and cut you in. Maybe 50 grand for your trouble." "Are you insane? You can't just." "Already done. Southeast corner, under that ugly cactus garden you planted. Gotta go." He hung up. I stumbled to my kitchen window, staring at my backyard in disbelief. The desert landscaping I'd carefully cultivated over 5 years looked undisturbed, but knowing my brothers, they'd probably waited until 3 a.m. to start digging. Kevin and Tommy had always been shady, failed business ventures, mysterious windfalls of cash, expensive toys they couldn't explain. But burying gold in my yard? Before I could even process what to do, my doorbell rang. At 6:15 a.m. Through the peephole, I saw 2 people in dark suits despite the already rising Arizona heat. The woman held up a badge. "Ms. Lisa Coleman? I'm Special Agent Sarah Nguyen with the IRS Criminal Investigation Division. This is Agent Derek Thompson. We need to speak with you about your brothers, Kevin and Thomas Coleman." My stomach dropped through the floor. I opened the door with shaking hands. "The IRS? What's this about?" "Ma'am, we've been investigating your brothers for tax evasion, money laundering, and unreported income for the past 18 months, Agent Nguyen said, her voice professionally neutral. "We have reason to believe they've recently moved assets to your property." I don't know what you're talking about." Agent Thompson pulled out a tablet, showing me a grainy night vision image. "This was taken at 2:47 a.m. That's Kevin and Tommy Coleman entering your property with shovels and several heavy bags." My mouth went dry. They must have been gardening. Surprising me. "Gardening," Agent Nguyen repeated flatly. "At 3 a.m. with what our ground-penetrating radar indicates is approximately $2 million in gold bullion." "You're what?" "We've had a warrant to monitor your brothers for 6 months, Agent Thompson explained. "When they suddenly liquidated numerous assets into gold last week, we knew they'd try to hide it. We've been watching. The radar van has been parked on your street since yesterday." I sank onto my porch chair. $2 million? "Ma'am," Agent Nguyen said, not unkindly, "you have 2 choices. Cooperate fully, and you're a witness. Lie to protect them, and you're an accomplice to tax evasion and money laundering. The sentence for that starts at 5 years federal prison." "They called me 20 minutes ago," I blurted out. "Said they buried their savings in my yard. I had no idea until just now. I swear to God, I knew nothing about this." Agent Nguyen nodded, making notes. "We know. We've been monitoring communications. Your brothers, however, seem to think you're their safe haven." A black SUV pulled up, followed by 2 more government vehicles and, horrifyingly, a news van. "How did the media?" I started. "Your neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, called them," Agent Thompson said dryly. "She saw the radar van and our vehicles. It's already on Twitter." My phone exploded with texts. Friends, co-workers, my ex-husband, all sending variations of, "Why is the IRS at your house on the news?" "We need to retrieve the gold," Agent Nguyen said. "Do we have your permission to dig, or do we need to wait for a warrant?" "Dig," I said immediately. "Dig it all up. I don't want their dirty money in my yard." That's when Kevin's massive Ford F-350 came screaming around the corner, Tommy hanging out the passenger window. They saw the government vehicles and slammed on the brakes so hard the truck fishtailed. "Freeze. IRS criminal investigation." Agents seemed to materialize from everywhere, behind cars, from the neighboring yards, even from Mrs. Patterson's roof. My brothers were surrounded before they could even put the truck in reverse. Kevin jumped out, hands up, trying to smile his way out of it. "Officers, what seems to be the problem?" "Kevin and Thomas Coleman, you're under arrest for tax evasion, money laundering, and structuring financial transactions to avoid reporting requirements," Agent Nguyen announced as other agents cuffed them. "Lisa," Tommy shouted, "don't say anything. Call our lawyer." "Your sister has been very cooperative," Agent Thompson said loudly. "Unlike you two." The look of betrayal on Kevin's face would have hurt if I wasn't so furious. They'd made me an unwitting accomplice to their crimes, put my house, my job, my freedom at risk. A team with metal detectors and shovels spread across my backyard. Within minutes, they'd located the cache. The excavation was careful, methodical, filmed from multiple angles. One by one, gold bars emerged from my desert garden. Dozens of them, gleaming in the morning sun. 73 gold bars, an agent called out. 1 kilogram each. Current market value approximately $2.1 million. Local news reporter Melissa Sandoval had pushed to the front of the growing crowd. Ms. Coleman, how does it feel to discover your brother's buried stolen millions in your yard? It's not stolen, Kevin yelled from the patrol car. It's our money. We earned it. Through your unlicensed casino operations? Agent Nguyen asked coolly. The ones you never reported to the IRS? The ones that generated approximately $8 million over the past 5 years. Kevin's face went pale. Tommy just put his head down on the patrol car's window. My phone rang. It was my mother screaming. Lisa, why are your brothers being arrested on live television? What did you do? What did I do? I laughed bitterly. They buried $2 million in illegal gold in my yard, Mom. They tried to make me an accomplice to federal crimes. Family doesn't turn on family, she shrieked. Family doesn't bury evidence of tax evasion in family's backyard. I shot back, hanging up. Agent Nguyen approached me with a document. Ms. Coleman, this confirms you're not under investigation. You're listed as a witness and victim. Your brothers used your property without consent to hide assets from the federal government. What happens to them? Based on the evidence we've collected, they're looking at 10 to 15 years federal prison. The hidden gold was just the latest in a long pattern of tax evasion. They owe approximately $3 million in back taxes, plus penalties and interest. I watched as my brothers were driven away. Kevin still trying to talk his way out, Tommy silent and defeated. The gold bars were being cataloged, each one tagged and photographed. Ms. Coleman, a man in a different suit approached. I'm attorney Michael Torres from the Asset Forfeiture Division. Because you cooperated immediately and had no knowledge of your brother's crimes, you may be eligible for a whistleblower award. What? The IRS pays rewards to individuals who provide information about tax evasion. In this case, given the amount recovered, you could receive up to 30% of the collected proceeds. I stared at him. You're saying I might get money for turning in my brothers? For being an honest citizen and not participating in their crimes, yes. The crowd around my house had grown. Neighbors I'd never spoken to were filming everything. The hashtag #BackyardGold was already trending in Phoenix. My phone rang again. This time it was Kevin's wife, Sherry. How could you, she sobbed. We have kids, Lisa. We have bills. You destroyed our family. Kevin destroyed your family when he decided not to pay taxes on $8 million, I said. Maybe ask him about the casino he was running. Or why he thought burying gold in my yard at 3 a.m. was a good idea. We'll lose everything. You should have thought of that before living off illegal money. The excavation continued for hours. Agents found not just gold, but also cash in vacuum-sealed bags, jewelry, and several hard drives Kevin and Tommy had buried in waterproof cases. The hard drives contained their entire operation, Agent Thompson told me privately. Customer lists, financial records, even videos of them counting money and laughing about not paying taxes. Your brothers were remarkably stupid criminals. That tracks, I muttered. By noon, my yard looked like an archaeological dig. My carefully cultivated cactus garden was destroyed. The desert landscaping I'd spent thousands on was ruined. But I was free, and my brothers were facing federal prison. That evening, after all the agents had left and the news vans had finally moved on, I sat in my backyard surveying the damage. My elderly neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, came over with a casserole and a bottle of wine. Hell of a day, she said, settling into a lawn chair. You called the news? Honey, when the IRS shows up at dawn with ground-penetrating radar, people need to know. Besides, your brothers are assholes. They never helped you when you were struggling after your divorce. She was right. When my ex-husband had cleaned out our accounts and left me with nothing, Kevin and Tommy had refused to loan me even $500 for rent. Family and money don't mix, they'd said. Yet they'd felt entitled to bury their illegal fortune in my yard. 6 months later, at their sentencing, I testified about the morning they'd called. Kevin got 12 years, Tommy got 10. The judge called them brazenly indifferent to federal law and willing to implicate innocent family members in their crimes. The IRS whistleblower check arrived a month after that, $437,000. I used it to pay off my mortgage, fix my yard, and donate to tax assistance programs for low-income families. Kevin wrote me from federal prison once, a long, rambling letter about family loyalty and betrayal. I sent it back unopened with a note. You buried your gold in the wrong yard. Next time, maybe try paying your taxes. I had my yard completely redone with the whistleblower money. New landscaping, a pool, and a patio with a fire pit. Sometimes I sit out there at night, right where the gold used to be buried, and think about how my brothers thought they were so clever. They'd forgotten one crucial thing. I'd rather have my freedom and integrity than all the buried gold in Arizona. And unlike them, I sleep peacefully at night, knowing the IRS has nothing to dig up in my yard except properly taxed earth.